KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM. The station that leaves no listener behind.
Hello and welcome to the Real Men of Real Estate radio show. I'm your host, Patrick Franz, the Note Mentor. And you know, every time on my show, I'm going to bring super awesome guest speakers on because I want people to get a super well-rounded education when it comes to note investing and financial intelligence as a whole. So you're going to want to listen in the second Sunday of every single month, right here live at 1 p.m. Pacific time, KCAA Radio. And you can go to kcaaradio.com and click listen live the second Sunday of every month to listen to my show about note investing and financial intelligence. And, just to remind everybody who's listening, this is not legal advice. This is not investment advice. This is opinions from myself and my guests about our lives and what we've done and certain things we've learned. And we want to pass on to you, the listeners, so that you may be able to better your life in some way or another. So always, before doing any type of investing or following anyone's advice or opinions, check out some legal counsel and make sure you're getting the proper legal advice, because investing can be risky. We all know that. So you want to protect yourself the right way. But hey, so folks, today, awesome show coming right up. It's Hannah Kessler is my guest, the money multiplier. And what we're going to talk about today, guys, is a little offbeat, a little side note to note investing. Not exactly talking about note investing today. A combination a little bit here of how somebody can really become their own bank by using whole life insurance, using this as your own bank while you're alive. You can use it to pay down debts. You can use it to invest. You can use it to do all sorts of different things, but also to be able to pass along and protect wealth for family generations to come. So you're not going to want to go anywhere. You're going to want to listen in today because you're going to get some wild nuggets. And I know folks who've listened to me, you know that I like to talk, and you know that it's fun to listen to me, and I like to have a good old time and be entertaining, but I've never had a guest on probably that can top that. And you're in for some good stuff today because Hannah Kessler loves to talk like me. And she's very good at helping people understand the beauty of utilizing whole life insurance policies to better their lives and their families' lives by becoming your own bank. Can you imagine not having to use a bank ever again? That would be kind of cool. Like, you don't have to use an actual commercial bank to go and borrow money to buy a house, to go and borrow money to have student debt, to go get married somewhere, to buy a new car. Can you imagine having your own bank and what that would look like? That's what you're going to learn today from Hannah Kessler, my guest. And so, Hannah, thank you so much for coming on the show. And you are welcome to pop in, introduce yourself to the listeners, and let us know a little bit about your story and how did Hannah Kessler, right, get into this amazing process of helping people understand how to become their own bank.
Yeah, no, thank you, Patrick. Thanks for having me today. And hello, happy Sunday, everybody. I'm very, very excited to be here because this is all that I do. I mean, one of my passions is just sharing to folks about how money really works. And so how I personally finance everything throughout my life. I don't keep money down at the central banks. I keep money inside of my privatized bank, i.e. what's called my whole life policy, designed for what's called the infinite banking concept. So before we get into it, I just want to share a resource with all the listeners here. All of the information that I teach and I cover comes from a black book, Becoming Your Own Banker. So for all the folks out there, go read that book, go do your research on this stuff, because all the information comes directly from there. But yeah, no. So my name's Hannah. I live down here in Florida, so Daytona Beach, Florida. And actually, it's my pops and I. So Brent Kessler is his name. Dad and I, we travel all across the country. Just yesterday, I was in Denver, Colorado, teaching, and we go and we just share with folks, hey, this is how money actually works. And so, just a little bit of background about us, because to be honest with you, we were not in this whole world whatsoever. Dad is actually a chiropractor. All right. And so it was actually, Dad was at a chiropractic event and he was sitting in the audience. This was back in 2006 now. All right. So 2006, Dad was out there sitting in the audience and somebody was up on stage teaching on this concept. And, he shared the resource of that Black book, Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And Dad just thought to himself, he goes, man, this stuff looks really, really good, but it just kind of looks too good to be true. There's no way that you can do that, right? So what Dad did is he went back home. He had his clinics in the Kansas City area. So that's where we're originally from, now live here in Florida. And he just went back to his normal day of living, right? So Dad went back and went to the office, was treating the patients. Sun went up, sun went down, right? So then 2 years later, 2008, Dad went back to that same chiropractic convention. And he was greeted by about 10 or 12 of his colleagues. And they were coming up to him and they were hooting and hollering about this banking concept. Brent, isn't this concept so cool? I'm able to keep the money in the family. I'm able to pay for the salaries of my employees. I can finance the equipment in my office. I can pay the rent for the building or the mortgage for the building of where my practice is at. And I'm all keeping that money. I'm able to go out, buy the adjustment table, but then now I have this system in place where I can get all of the money back for that purchase that I just spent. And so it was back in 2008. Dad said, all right, well, maybe one or two of them are lying to me, but there's no way 10 or 12 of these folks are lying to me. So that's when my family really got introduced to this whole concept, was 2008. And just fast forward, I'll share later on with how you can go back and watch Brent's full background. But at that time, Dad was in almost $1 million of debt. And by implementing this concept in this process, he was able to pay that debt off in 39 months, 3 years, 3 months. He didn't work any harder. He didn't change his cash flow, take any additional risk, or lose control. He just changed where the money was going first. And to be honest with you, I think that's our biggest misconception here, just in the American education about economy, is that we are not taught how money works. And we are plugged in from day one to be consumers of the central bank, in that dictatorship of the banks, the Federal Reserve System, and the government. So now that I know this stuff, I'm just going to play the game right along there with the elite and the wealthy individuals. And
I love it. I love it. Just, guys, because listeners out there, it's like, if you don't know, you don't know. And that's okay. That's fair enough. We're not taught financial intelligence in school. I mean, like you said, we're taught to be workers. Okay. We're taught to be workers, not taught to be financially astute and wealthy and pass wealth to our families. They've tried to kind of hide those truths, even though most of the elite and wealthy families utilize these tactics that we're talking about. But it's amazing to break this up a little bit, but I just want the audience to understand something, right? If you don't know, you don't know. Well, Hannah Kessler knows because her dad took a hold of it and then passed it to his family. The daughter took a hold of it. But let me ask you, this is crazy. And I want people to understand this, right? How old were you in 2008, Hannah?
Oh man, I was a young buck. I want to say I think I was 8 years old. I was 8 years old. Yep, if I do the math right.
I almost was going to say, she was only in high school, but folks, she was like 8 or 9 years old, right? 8 or 9 years old when her pops was learning about this technique, and he was able to teach it to his daughter, who's now taken off with it and really understands how to help people. And she's so young. And so listeners out there, goodness gracious, if you are, listening to this show, even though it's AM talk radio, and I probably don't think you might be if you're young, but I mean, I don't care, guys. If you're 18, 25, 35, 55, 70 years old, if you finally get what we're talking about in today's show, once we're done and you really grab a hold of what this can do for you and your family, it is never too late, and you're never too young. It's all about knowing this information and putting it to use, right? But I'm assuming that people are still kind of confused what the heck we're talking about. And people know about life insurance, Hannah, and I always know that people say, well, I know about life insurance. You dump a bunch of money into it your whole life so that when you die, your family's good. What do you mean about using life insurance to like start a bank? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So Nelson Nash has always taught us, he says that there's two businesses that you want to be in your life. The first one is the one that you're passionate about, right? Gets you up out of bed every day, supports the family, supports your livelihood. And then the second business that you want to be in is that banking business. So Patrick, just to follow up on what you just said, I absolutely agree. You finance every single thing that you buy, whether you're 9 years old or 90 years old, right? You finance every single thing that you buy. You either pay interest to somebody else or you give up the interest that you could have earned on your money. So I don't want people to change what they're already doing. Y'all are very, very great at making money, but you guys kind of suck at keeping it. So all I'm doing with these whole life policies, okay? So these whole life policies, they're being designed specifically for high cash value banking purposes. So it's designed specifically for this concept. And another thing too, you want to work with a mutually owned company, not a stock company, not a stock insurance company, because a mutually owned company, you, the policy owner, you share in all the benefits and the dividends of being a mutually owned partner with that company, right? So all I'm doing is I'm just designing this whole life policy. I'm overfunding it to get that immediate, my definition of immediately is within 30 days, to have my immediate cash value in there that I can take out and start using. And so all I'm doing is I'm just funneling my money through the policy first. And here's the big why. Okay, I'll kind of get into it. Mm-hmm. It's called our opportunity cost of our money. Because when you start to funnel the money through the policy first, now starts that time clock of the uninterrupted compounding that we're going to get on those dollars. And then I'll go in there and I'll leverage the policy. I'll take the dollars or that equity out of it. And then I will go buy my investments. I'll go pay my tax bill, go put the down payment on the house. Literally whatever you want to use the money for, you can go use it within that banking system if you got the cash in there.
So folks, we're going to get into this a little bit more after this commercial break, but we're going to come back in just a few minutes. I know you're not going to go anywhere because look, we're going to get right into this. How is this different, right? How are we able to fund a life insurance policy and have the money grow inside that life insurance policy perpetually while we take money back out, tangible cash, and then we can go and invest that or pay for our credit card debts or buy a new car? And I know it's going to be confusing, but we're going to get right into it right after this break, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Real Men of Real Estate.
Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA.
Notes, mortgages can be purchased.
All of us want to live in thriving communities.
Basically, go to the radio station, KCAA radio.com.
You're listening to Fabulous Lifestyle Radio. I'm your host, Ricky Perry, and we are affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and Sports, where we broadcast to over 5 million households in the greater Los Angeles area. If you missed our previous shows, you can watch us on our streaming networks on Roku TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and the Android app.
Looking to attract your target market without soliciting or doing the cold calling? Call Marie Waite and book your consultation. Branding gives you the power to create a unique and classy perception of your business for your target audience. A marketing plan without the right branding will always cost more, take longer, and tend to deliver subpar results compared to a well-branded business. Marie Waite is a branding strategist who formulates effective marketing and media programs to promote your business in building your name, brand, and legacy. Marie has over 10 years of experience and a proven record of creating strong brand content for business owners, entrepreneurs, and companies using her creative ideas, recommendations, and innovative programs. Book now at mariewaite.com or call her at 951-378-5316, 951-378-5316.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. I know you didn't go anywhere. You were waiting patiently from our wonderful sponsors and their great words of wisdom there and the commercial break. But I know you folks weren't going anywhere because we're back with Hannah Kessler, the money multiplier. We're talking about how to leverage whole life insurance policies that are specially constructed for cash value so that you can not only fund your life insurance policy, continue to grow your wealth perpetually with compounding in that policy, while you have the ability to get the cash back to you. Okay, you get to access most of the cash that you've put into that policy so that you can use it to pay off debts, buy a new car, or do an investment, like maybe, in my opinion, buy a mortgage note. But we were just continuing with that. And I didn't want to, I wanted to let you keep going on that, Hannah, because we were explaining the difference, right? A specially formed policy. This isn't your old granddad's life insurance policy, folks. It is different. It needs to be designed specifically for this purpose. But the wealthiest families in the entire world have been doing this for a long, long time. They just didn't teach us in junior high.
That's it. That's it. And here's something else too, because when most folks are coming to you and talking about life insurance, they're always talking to you about death benefit, right? Hey, how much death benefit do you want? And I'm going to go out there and find you the cheapest premium for that death benefit. I don't care about death benefit. I'm going to use the policy for the financing and the cash, and then death benefit's going to be there whether I like it or not. It's just my cherry on top of the cake. So that's kind of the difference, right? And that's where the paradigm shift starts to happen. So let me share a little quote with your listeners here too. There's a guy by the name of Will Rogers. And Will Rogers says, the problem in America isn't so much what people don't know, it's what they think they know that just ain't so. So a lot of the things that we've been taught about money, wealth, finance may not actually be the truth. So honestly, y'all, this concept is very, very simple. It's just different in how the majority thinks and behaves. And so it's just a big paradigm shift. So really, my mindset and me being my own banker within my policies, there are premiums that go into that policy, right? So the premiums that go in, most of the times when we think of life insurance premiums, we think of them as payments, right? It's a payment for this death benefit. Well, no, because in this specifically designed policy, when I put a premium into that policy, now immediately I have cash in there. So when I think of my premiums, I think of them like deposits into my bank, because now once I put money into an account that I own and I control, it's treated more like a deposit rather than a payment. So that's how I think about it, to really get my mind geared into thinking about this as my privatized banking system. So now, with these policies, right, you got the premium. Premium is a dollar amount, whatever that you choose. You get to determine what that premium amount is that you want to put into that policy. And folks can choose if they want to do it monthly, quarterly, twice a year, or pay it up for the full year, do an annual premium, right? So those premium deposits go in, and then now it's inside of that policy or that account, growing uninterrupted compounding interest, like I mentioned on the last segment. And so now what I'm doing, just to push my dollar the extra mile for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that cash from the policy. And how I'm doing this really logistically is I'm putting my policy up for collateral, and I'm taking a loan from the general funds of the insurance company. So that allows all of my dollars to still grow and compound while I'm over here using the money in the real world. So I'll use that money to maybe clear off some bad consumer debts. Maybe you're like me, you don't got any bad debts. Maybe you just got a cheap rate on a mortgage on your house, right? I love using cheap money if I can find it somewhere, right? I like leveraging good debt, right? But so what I'll do is I'll use that cash value in that policy. I will go and buy my notes. I will go do some private lending deals. That's something else I like to do in the real estate world. I will go out, and coming up here soon, we're here in April. I got to pay my tax bill. I'll use my policy money to go pay my tax bill. So here's the big kicker as to why personally that I'm doing this. Because like I said, when I funnel the money through, I always earn that uninterrupted compounding. But now I'm also making money out here in the external world with what I'm using the money for. So in my simple mind, I just summarize it up by, well, hey, I'm kind of just pushing my dollar the extra mile. I'm essentially just double dipping on my dollar. I'm making money right here inside of the policy, and I'm making money over here in my investments or taking back the control of what I'm doing with those consumer debts that I may have. And so that's all I'm doing. I'm just double dipping on the dollar over here.
And I'm going, it's like, well, somebody might come across a large sum of capital, and somebody might take this capital and go and stick it in a checking account at Wells Fargo Bank and let it sit there for a while they're sort of looking for an investment property or a note to buy or something, because we're investors and we want to put our money to work, as they say. And so then we wait and we find something cool, like a mortgage note or a rental property or a private lending deal, and we take that money out of the checking account at Wells Fargo and we give it to somebody, or we put it into some sort of an investment, and now that money is growing at whatever rate of return that investment is providing you, whether it be a note, a rental property, or such. So guys, just the listeners, just the different mindset, different kind of like a paradigm switch, like we were talking about. It's like, rather than take your money that you get and put it into a checking account at Wells Fargo and let it sit there until you find a place to put it into some sort of an investment or project, what Hannah's saying is just switch it up here. We're saying become your own bank. And how? By a specially designed whole life insurance policy. Specially designed, meaning it's cash leverageable. Now, what does this mean? You could take money that you get, Hannah, and I'm gonna let you help me describe this and tell me. I'm not the best at it, but I kind of get the idea to explain it to the layman like me. And it's like, well, when you get some money, instead of putting it into the checking account at Wells Fargo and letting it sit there until you invest it somewhere, take that money and put it into your whole life insurance policy. The whole life insurance policy comes with two things. One, a steady rate of growth. And I'll let you explain why, because I'm still confused about that. But say you put 100 grand into your whole life insurance policy. That $100,000 that you put into the policy, folks, is going to be growing at a certain rate per year. Way more than if it was sitting in a checking account or a savings account, which obviously we know yields no profit or no ROI. But this is something where it goes into your policy, and it's like your little bank account that's now growing at, I don't know, you might say, what is it, 3, 4, 5% a year, whatever it may be. But can you imagine your money sitting in a savings account at Wells Fargo and they're paying you 4 or 5% interest on keeping that money in the savings account? That's the theory. And your money is sitting in your life insurance policy account, and account that is generating returns for you as it sits there. Now, out of that $100,000, I can borrow, say, 80 grand of it into tangible capital again for me, and go and take that 80 grand and put it into a note or a rental property or an investment. Now, the $100,000 balance is still existing in my policy, growing at a certain rate of return on a yearly basis, and that doesn't change. But I can actually borrow 80 grand of that out of there. Doesn't affect the policy, the 100 grand that's in there growing. And now I have 80 grand to go put it into a note deal or some private lending deal. And now that's why Hannah was saying, look, you're double dipping and you're utilizing your own bank. Did I ever have to use Wells Fargo in this scenario? No, folks. So please help me elaborate. Did I explain any of that at all?
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I like hearing you reciprocate it back to me, because I know that Patrick, you and your fiance and your kid, y'all got policies. Y'all are actively doing this stuff too. So I always sometimes like to hear you reciprocate the concept back, because then I'm like, all right, he's getting it now. No. So that was very good. Here's something else that I'll add too. With conventional banks, we are not taught about something called fractional reserve lending. If you really think your money is backed up by the FDIC, we got to have a come to Jesus meeting right now. Okay. Because it is not. All right. The Federal Reserve and all of that FDIC bull crap, is just bull crap in that sense, right? Because what are they doing? When you, the depositor, put money down at the central banks, the central bank now is using your money. They're using your money, lending it out to you or to other people, and they're making a good living off of your dollars. And so all I'm doing is I'm just going to flip the script. I'm going to deposit money into my bank, and now I'm going to lend it out to me or to other people, and now I will make the interest and profits and dividends on myself. And just quickly, because I'm thinking about it too, I'll go back to like the policies themselves, right? inside of that contract, because here's the thing, y'all, a whole life policy is a contract. It is a contract between you and that insurance company. And basically all it is that you're saying is you're saying, hey, insurance company, I promise that I will make these premium deposits to you. And in return, at the time of my passing, you promise to pay me out this death benefit. Because it's not an if we die, it's a when we die. I like to use the word graduate, but y'all can use whatever word you want to use. But it's when we pass, die, or graduate, I promise I will pay this death benefit out to you. And so inside of that policy contract, that contractual agreement, we get a guaranteed interest rate, guaranteed. And that guaranteed is 3.25, not including dividends. All right. I always like to under promise and over deliver. I can't sit here and promise you a dividend because dividends are not guaranteed. But these mutual companies that have been around since the late 1800s, early 1900s have been paying dividends for over 122 plus consecutive years. Here's something else for my nerds out here. This is what I'm really passionate about that I like teaching. It's something called Austrian economics. I love keeping my money down at the insurance companies rather than the banks because they believe in sound money, limited government intervention, and me having the freedom and liberty to do whatever I please with that money. Because if I have cash value inside of my policy, I can use that cash. I can take out money. The insurance company can never deny me a loan because written inside of my policy contract, me being the owner, I have first rights to any equity, aka cash value inside of that policy that I can use. And so simply, if I'm not using that policy or that cash value for something, then I will just send it back to my policies just to safely warehouse it somewhere.
And guys, I mean, it's like we're not going to be able to cover all this in this show, and we're going to have to take another commercial break, but we're talking about becoming your own bank. Can you imagine that? We'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere.
Looking to attract your target market without soliciting or doing the cold calling? Call Marie Waite and book your consultation. Branding gives you the power to create a unique and classy perception of your business for your target audience. A marketing plan without the right branding will always cost more, take longer, and tend to deliver subpar results compared to a well-branded business. Marie Waite is a branding strategist who formulates effective marketing and media programs to promote your business in building your name, brand, and legacy. Marie has over 10 years of experience and a proven record of creating strong brand content for business owners, entrepreneurs, and companies using her creative ideas, recommendations, and innovative programs. Book now at mariewaite.com or call her at 951-378-5316, 951-378-5316.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about, so join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Oh, folks, thank you so much for being so patient. Those were such wise words of wisdom from our commercial sponsors, but we're back with Hannah Kessler. If you were listening in, folks, we were just getting right into it about how you can become your own bank and not have to use the big banks. And Hannah, I think maybe a lot more people are going to wake up to this theory here very quickly, since all the big banks are seemingly going down quickly because of the fraud, because of the fractional reserve banking you were discussing. And it's been sort of a fraudulent system for quite some time now, and it's starting to sort of uncover itself and show its ugly face. So how much more important is it for people today to hear what we're saying about becoming your own bank and using these specially designed whole life policies like the wealthy folks? It's amazing too, Hannah, and I hate to go on this side note, but we were just talking about, oh, it's amazing how some of the wealthiest families in the world, JP Morgan Chase, we're talking about the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, they've designed the school system to teach us zero financial intelligence and to make us worker bees. And in the meantime, their families have been utilizing these techniques we're talking about the whole darn time. And it's a wonder they say the rich keep getting richer.
Yep. Here's something else, actually, for my folks out there too. Here's another resource: The Creature of Jekyll Island, written by Edward Griffin. Great book. If y'all want to dive in deeper into all of that stuff, I recommend that book out to y'all.
Beautiful.
So anyways, here's something else that I'll bring up too. I totally agree. We have been taught, like I mentioned, from day one to be consumers of the central bank. I think why it's so easy for me to get this stuff, because I am young, all right? I'm second generation to this concept. I didn't have to go through life and then unlearn all of the BS that y'all learned growing up, right? I think that's why it's just so easy for me to get this stuff. But here's really what's going on, right? We are taught that we go out and make our money. I don't care how you make your money. You got to make your money somehow to live on this God-given earth we call America, right? So you go out, you go make your money. Then what are our options? What are we taught? We're taught, okay, I make my money, I can go put it down at the central banks, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, etc., where I can keep my money there and they can use my money. Or I can go leave my money underneath my mattress, maybe dig a hole in the backyard, right? I could keep my money there. Or I can put my money with a financial advisor who thinks they can manage my money better than I can, right?
That reminds me of an IRA or 401k a little bit, you say.
Oh, there we go. But that's the thing, y'all. We're just never taught properly. We're always taught to be in the controls of somebody else. And so all I'm just trying to say is that, y'all, we better wake up, or you will be in those controls of these central banks and these other financial institutes, financial advisors for the rest of your life. And here's this PSA, because I am here to be effective in your financial life. I am not here to be your friend. So no need to send me a Christmas card or a birthday card, okay? But here's the thing. If you do not care more about your financial life, nobody else is going to care more than what you do. You got to take that control back, and you got to start caring, because nobody else is going to care more about your financial life than you. So that's all I'm doing. And I think a lot more people are waking up, definitely right now, how we're talking here in the headline of the news and the bank closures and even all of the digital currency stuff that's coming out. In my honest opinion, it's all about the control of the American people, but let's not go there.
No, 100%. I mean, the facts are it is. People can call people conspiracy theorists or what have you, but the writing's on the wall. And if people aren't awoke yet to see it, then they're just too far asleep, and that's okay. But, the whole thing, you don't know what you don't know, or you don't want to accept. Okay. But yeah, I mean, guys, becoming your own bank. The fact of the matter is, folks, it's one of the main reasons why the rich keep getting richer. That's just the fact. I want to give an example, if we can, to some listeners real quick, Hannah, and say, I put 100 grand into my policy. You said it grows at what, 3.25%?
That's it.
Per year. So again, folks, let me just make this analogy. It's like putting 100 grand of my money into a savings account. Let's just say, for ease of thought, putting it into a savings account that yields me 3.5% return on my money every single year in perpetuity. That's called compounding. Also, that savings account comes with a very large death benefit, so that when I pass away, there's a very large death benefit that goes and gets back to the family bank as well, which continues to increase. And so if you have policies on all your family members and everybody's using a family bank, You're number one, earning 3.5% on that money. You're number two, getting tons and tons of huge cash infusions when anybody does, unfortunately, perish. But also, folks, you can take the money out and utilize it for investments. It's not like our grandpas and grandmas policies they talked about. You can borrow the money. It's specially designed to borrow the money out, tax-free, by the way, and then to invest that money into something like I preach, like maybe mortgage notes, because, mortgage notes can get you quite a nice yield. It's a secure investment with a nice yield, spits off cash flow, can't be better. So now you've got your 100 grand that's growing at 3.5% a year. You've borrowed out, say, 80 grand of that's now growing at 12% a year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're having the cash flow come back that can be paying the loan back off that you've taken from your policy, folks. So it continues to grow. And you can only imagine 80 years from now, 100 years from now, what your family's wealth will be. It's almost just a guarantee, right? And so, gosh, can you imagine the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all these folks that have been doing this for generations and generations and generations, how their family money, their family wealth just continues to grow. And that's what we're talking about, folks. That's what we're talking about. So talk about that a little bit. What does that look like in that example, Hannah? And then what kind of death benefit are they still looking at? And what if they don't pay the 80 grand back that they borrowed out of their policy? Give a little example. How does that all look?
Yeah. Let's use that example. I'll actually use some like real life examples that I've done in my life. So one of them, my house in Florida. All right. I'm originally from Kansas City, like I mentioned. And so I moved down to Florida, and it was dad. So dad found the property. He bought the house in cash. He bought the house from the cash value inside of his policies. And let's just recap why. Because when you take money from the policy, you're never interrupting that growth on the money. What's called opportunity cost. All right, for my folks out there. So he goes in, he finds the property, he takes out policy money, goes and pays cash for it. So, okay, we have the property now. All right, so dad is the mortgage holder, but me, I'm the deed holder. I own the house, and then now I just pay dad my monthly mortgage payments. I'm keeping money in the family. Another one that I did, I like to travel. All right. I like to go camping. I like to kind of live that nomad lifestyle. I got a conversion van. All right. So for my folks out there, those Mercedes Sprinter vans, they convert the back of it to that RV living style. I did that in 2021. And so that project, it cost me some dollars. What I did is I took the money out of my policy. I went down to the Tampa Dodge dealership. I bought the van, and then I hired a guy up in Nashville, Tennessee to do the whole conversion. And so with both of those transactions, I used policy money to do that. Now, because this is a depreciating asset, it's not like my real estate, right? So if I'm using my policy money for things like that, or like a boat or a bicycle, an airline ticket, whatever you want to call it, when I'm using my policy money for something like that, I play honest banker with myself in my life. And so basically all I said to myself is, okay, Hannah, so since you borrowed money from your bank, don't you think it's a good idea that you should pay yourself back plus pay yourself back with interest? Yes. Do we ever do it though? No, right? So now I'm just going to play that honest banker with myself. And now I'm just sending myself back $1,000 a month to my policy because that's what I told myself that I want to do. Do I have to pay back my policy loans? No, let alone with interest? Not at all. This is what I'm talking about with the ultimate control. But I'm going to teach you to play an honest banker, and you should. All right, you should. Do treat your money just like how you treat the bank's money, because if you don't, you're just saying the banker's money is more valuable than your money. So now let's fast forward, okay? Let's fast forward. And let's make believe that I'm trucking along and I am age 120 when I pass away. All right. And so I'm age 120. And during my lifetime, I've been using my policies. And at the time of my passing, I have $5 million of death benefit, just making up a number. I have $5 million in death benefit, and I have outstanding $2 million of loans. Here's the thing, policy loans, they are nothing more than a prepayment of our death benefit. So all it is that we are using our death benefit early. So if I'm using 2 million of the dollars in my life right now and I graduate, well, then the insurance company will take my 5 million of death benefit, subtract my 2 million of outstanding loans, and then the remaining portion now will get paid out tax-free to my beneficiaries in one lump sum. And this is where the legacy aspect of this concept comes from, because now you're leaving that generational wealth to the next family, or next generation, I should say.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's amazing because we say becoming your own bank or becoming your own banker, right? So true, folks. I mean, imagine. So you go and you give your money to Wells Fargo Bank. Now, Wells Fargo Bank pays you nothing to hold that in an account there, pays you nothing, next to nothing. And then you want to go get a loan to buy a Sprinter van and remodel the back of it to be a nomad across the country like Hannah, and you want that. Well, those things cost money, and the renovations in those vans cost money. Well, you see, the perfect example, her family has these life policies. They're cash leverageable. So they put the money in the policy. It grows at 3.25% every year. They borrow money out of their own family bank. So Hannah borrows money from her family bank to build her awesome camper van, Sprinter van, to drive across the country, live the nomad life. That costs a lot of money. She could have borrowed money from Wells Fargo to do it. She could have paid an auto loan. She could have borrowed some extra money to do renos and that. And she's paying monthly payments with interest back to Wells Fargo. So Wells Fargo continues to get rich off of your money, period. You don't. Your money is gone. It leaves your family. It leaves your account. Now, imagine put it in your life insurance. You borrow that out and you pay it back to your life insurance with interest, just like you paid Wells Fargo. Being your own honest banker. Can you see now, folks, how the wealth continues to grow, continues to build, and continues to accumulate just like the bank, but for you and your family? And we're going to get right back into more of this. And I know you're not going anywhere. We'll be right back in just a few minutes, folks.
This is Steve Matley. Join me every Thursday at 3 p.m. right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations radio talk show. I spent decades as a professional construction manager, business owner, real estate developer, and a college educator, and I enjoy learning new things from other people. We talk a lot about real estate, business, and finance, but we cover a diverse range of other topics as well. Some of the topics we've discussed in the past few months include real estate investing, leadership, higher education, ADUs, marketing using technology, multifamily rental properties, business strategy, entrepreneurship. You never know who may show up or what they may talk about. So join us right here on KCAA for Building Solid Foundations Radio.
Hey guys, it's Damon, Mr. Foxy, Damon Hart, and I'm here with the Real Men of Real Estate. And I just want to say, hey, come and watch us this Sunday, 1 p.m. live, every Sunday. Okay, we're going to be on KCAA Radio, 1050 a.m., 106.5 FM. If you got a minute, just tune in. We can't wait to have you here. I'm going to be there. If you can't make it on there, we're going to be at Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, or Android app on Building Solid Foundations channel. So tune in. You know what you got to do in the meantime. Keep it foxy.
Fire Up Connect is the most innovative business networking group, supporting and collaborating with a dozen of small businesses that are interested in building and establishing strong business connections, hosting educational live seminars while carrying out business and community-driven projects, as well as marketing programs as a part of its membership program. Fire Up Connect also offers virtual assistance with a wide range of services including inbound customer support, chat support, appointment setting and email management, graphic designing, video editing, web design and development, social media marketing, e-commerce solution, content writing, and much more. For more information, head on over to www.fireupconnect.com. Fire Up Connect, helping success stories unfold every day.
Alrighty, folks. Hey, welcome back to the Real Men of Real Estate radio show here on KCAA Radio. I know you didn't go anywhere because this is way too interesting and way too fun. We're learning how to be our own family bank with Hannah Kessler from the Money Multiplier. And guys, the richest families in the world do it. They just didn't teach us how to do it. So now that you know this stuff, you're gonna do it. But hey, Hannah, go ahead and continue right where you left off before the break, because I know you have some juice to get into how people can understand these policies a little more and how they work the way they do. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Because here's one thing, a big thing that I get asked a lot when I go out and I travel and teach live, people always say, Hannah, this stuff is really, really good. Why aren't more people doing this? Why have I never been taught this before? And now you can see why Dad thought, hey, this seems too good to be true. There's no way you can do something like that. So Hannah, why aren't people going out there and sharing this message more? What are the cons to this concept, right? And to be honest with you, it's just never been explained. Nobody is out there sitting down at your kitchen table and really diving in deeper into what's going on. Because let's be real, when most financial people come to you and they want to talk about your finances, they're talking to you all about the finances and the money that you're saving. Hey, I want to get you a higher rate of return on the dollars that you're saving. I don't care what you're going to go and invest in or how you're going to make your money. I'm just going to show you how to keep the money that you're already spending. You got to go buy the cars anyways. You want to go take vacations. You got to pay your tax bill anyways. Now I just know a smarter way to do it. I'm going to play the game right along there with them. Now, here's another thing. Hey, why do we want to use whole life insurance? Dave Ramsey, Susie Orman, they told me whole life insurance is the worst place to put my money. It's the most terrible investment that I could ever do, right? Well, there's number one. The policy is not an investment. In my definition of an investment, it involves risk, right? It can go up and it can go down. A whole life policy contract is an appreciating asset. That thing can never go down because you got that guaranteed interest that the company's contractually promising you each and every year. Here's another thing. Banks. All I'm doing over here is I'm just mimicking and imitating what the rich and the elite are doing. The number one purchasers of whole life insurance in the world are conventional banks. And go fact check me, y'all. Go Google something called BOLI. It stands for Bank Owned Life Insurance. And BOLI, if you go out there, you can look up all the pages, the big banks that we all know the names of, or the small hometown banks, but go look at their portfolios and you will see right there underneath their tier 1 capital, that is one of the largest assets that they hold right there. Banks love whole life insurance. Are they doing it because they're stupid, or are they doing it because it's something that the rest of us just don't know about? They're probably doing something. And actually, I found this very interesting. Since 2013, conventional banks have actually quadrupled the amount of portfolio of what they hold in whole life insurance. Again, are they doing something stupid, or are they doing something the rest of us just don't know about? So anyways, for my folks out there and kind of talking like on the, hey, I've never heard about this before. This is very enlightening, and I'm kind of challenging your brain right now. I get it because my family was right there. So I just wanted to provide those resources to go out and look into deeper on all of this stuff. And now just quick recap too, with these policies, things that we could keep talking more and more about. We could be here for the next 6.5 hours if y'all really want to. But with the policies, some other things that I just personally find enjoyment in, and that's why I own 5 of my own personal policies. Brent has 24 of these freaking things. I'm just trying to catch up to him. But with these policies, number one, it's asset protected, right? If God forbid, I ever get sued, nobody can come after the money inside of my policy. Number two, it grows tax-free, right? What's our largest eroder of wealth? Patrick, you out there in California, man, what's your largest eroder of wealth? Taxes, right? Inside of that policy, it grows tax-free. Government is completely out of our hair, right? And then number three, we got that permanent guaranteed death benefit. That death benefit is going to be on the policy, whether we like it or not, but I'm not here solving your need for death benefit. As Nelson Nash taught us, he says, hey, if I can solve your need for financing cash in your lifetime, you'll have enough death benefit to leave to your family and heirs. So that's just personally why I'm taking action with this stuff and doing it just in a smarter, better way. And for all my listeners out there, go watch the presentation. If you go to our website, themoneymultiplier.com/presentation, it will take you right there. You can see the full recorded presentation. Brent will take you through his whole story about how he had his $1 million in debt and how he was able to pay it off using this concept. And go there. We also got a podcast showing. It's called the Money Multiplier Podcast. We got the YouTubes, the Facebook groups, the TikToks, Instagrams, and all of that stuff. So just reach out to me. And my name's Hannah. So Hannah at themoneymultiplier.com is my email address. And the Money Multiplier is the name of our company.
Yes, folks. You've just got to learn this stuff. If you know, you know. If you know, you know. And once you know this stuff, if you don't put it to work, I can't fix you. Once you know this stuff, you don't put it to work. You can't fix stupid, can you?
Yeah.
You can't fix stupid. But if you don't know, you don't know. And that's why I wanted to have Hannah on here, guys. And so, like, recapping, right? She said there's a few books out there that you can read if you want to know more information on this. One of them is Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. And the other book that she said was quite interesting is The Creature of Jekyll Island. So maybe those are two books you want to check out. And folks, and always remember too, you can go and check out her website, themoneymultiplier.com. Also, they have the Money Multiplier podcast, YouTube channel, and so forth. Now, if folks, you want to try to get a hold of or get in touch with Hannah Kessler to get some more information on how these policies work and how you can start to become your own family bank, then it's Hannah at themoneymultiplier.com. And HANNAH is how she spells Hannah. And Hannah at themoneymultiplier.com. You can shoot her an email. Let her know that you listened to this on the radio show and you have something to say. Go ahead, Hannah.
I do. I forgot to mention as well, if y'all email me, I will send you a copy of our ebook. It's called Mapping Out the Millionaire Mystery. My father, Brent, and Chris Noggle wrote it together. Some of y'all may know Chris Noggle. He's very active in the real estate space and on YouTube, but send me an email. I'll send you a copy of that free ebook.
You got it right there, folks. You want to go get the ebook and you want to email her at Hannah at themoneymultiplier.com to get your questions answered and figure out how to open these policies and become your own bank. Guys, thank you so much for listening in today on our show. Thank you, Hannah, for sharing all this information with these folks. I'm sure you're going to get some people reach out to you because they're going to have questions about this, and you should, folks. So thank you for listening in. I appreciate it. Come check me out the second Sunday of every month, 1 p.m. Pacific time at KCAAradio.com. Folks, you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
E-Digits. Lock them in for more information.